welcome to another Mystery School. This episode is on DNA upgrades, and I'm your host, Jacob Cox. Thank you guys all for being here. I'm very grateful. We're in our new studio for tonight, my garage, and that's where all our new episodes will take place. Very grateful for that. Very thankful to have my own space to be able to do these things now so we can have these really cool backgrounds. So thanks for joining us, and all you guys that are with us right now on Ascension Works TV and those who will watch later on and different platforms like Rumble and YouTube. But let's go ahead and get started. Our topic tonight is DNA upgrades. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. Oh, there we go. All right, DNA. I was going to say it's a big topic, but it's kind of a small topic actually, with a big bang. DNA is absolutely incredible. I feel like we're just now starting to understand a lot of the things that our DNA has to offer. Mainstream science just, I don't feel like has cut it. We haven't had the tools and the things to really explore it and understand it. It's easy to go out and see things with our eyes that we can see, but these things are very small, and trying to figure out exactly what's going on there can be difficult sometimes. But I think now with the technology that we have, we're starting to understand the mystery of DNA and how incredible this little tiny thing is that's in our bodies, and it's in, we have a lot of it in us, a vast amount of DNA in our body. And we need to learn what's going on in there. How can we access it? And can we upgrade it? Is there a way that we can, kind of turn this stuff on? Because in one single gram, one little tiny drop of DNA, it's capable of holding 700 terabytes of data. That is just an astronomical number. That one little tiny drop can hold that much. When you start to really think about that, that's incredible. In fact, because that's such a small amount, we have so much DNA in us, you can actually store up to 13.5 billion years of data. And ironically, that is the supposed age of the universe. So 13.5 billion years of data, 13.5 billion years that our universe seems to be. Quite an ironic, synchronistic number. I tend to believe that if that number is right, then the entire universe is in our DNA. And that's exactly what many mystics and saints and philosophers had said, we're not just a tiny drop in the ocean. We're the whole ocean in a single drop. And so every single thing that's ever happened, never will happen, that is happening right now, it's all in there. So then DNA must be the original book of life. I mean, you know what I mean? It just makes sense. All the information is in there. Everything, again, it's happened, that will happen. It's all stored in this incredible technology that's inside of us. And how incredible is that? That no one owns it. No one's got a patent on it. Each and every single one of us have DNA in us, and we can access it. It's just really important to figure out, how can we get in there? How can we upload and download and really understand the very technology that's inside of us? Because, a lot of times the science will tell us most of this junk, don't worry about it. Most of it's junk anyway. Know the science. Well, what I know is that mostly humans make junk, but even on this planet, there's no other trash and junk that's made by any animals or plants or anything, except for humans. And it seems to be the same way in the universe. Everything is recycled. Everything is reused. Our bodies are reused. Our souls are reused. All the particles that are in us are from the star systems. And, everything in the universe is all being destroyed and reused over. You can't create or destroy energy. It's here now. All the energy is here, was here when the tiny little, singularity was here. So we can't create or destroy it. It's all here all the time. So to me, when someone uses the term junk DNA, that most of our DNA must be junk, it's just garbage, trash, extra stuff that we don't need or use, I don't agree with that. It doesn't even make sense. I remember one of my teachers told me that when I was a kid. And I was saying, that just doesn't make any sense. But as a kid and, 20, 30 years ago, we just didn't have that information to be able to combat that. But now we really do. The information is there. The scientific studies are happening. And one of the things that's going on here is, out of the 64 possible codons in our DNA, only about 20 of those amino acids are turned on. And that's what they're saying. So a lot of the stuff isn't being used. It's not turned on. But can we turn it on? Is that possible? It is possible. And what scientists are finding out now is that there are really only two derivatives of energy that we can be experienced at one time. It's either love or fear. And the fear pattern is a slower vibrational frequency that has higher crescents, lower troughs. And when that energy of fear goes through your DNA, it's clicking very little of the switches. But when you're in love, it's a higher frequency, shorter wavelengths, lower crescents and troughs. So it's really having a lot more effect on the switches in the DNA, and it's able to turn them on. It activates more DNA antenna, which connects us to all that is. And the low frequency, slow wavelength activates very few DNA antennas, which connects us to the cosmos. So we need to live in this love vibration. And, it's not that meaning that you walk around all day, I just love everything, I'm so happy. That's very hard to do, but we at least understand forgiveness, to let people have freedom to make their own mistakes, to not be attached by judgments, those kind of things. That really helps you detach from that fear feeling, to allow people to make their own mistakes, allow people to be themselves. Don't judge them, and understand everybody's going through the journey. And some people are advanced farther than you are in some aspects and behind you in some ways. But everybody's on their own path and their own journey. So no reason to judge anybody for any reason. But happiness, positivity, health, love, it is a higher frequency than anger, pain, disease, and disappointment and fear. So low frequencies are associated with disharmony in the body, and higher frequencies are associated with a state of well-being. And that's why literally we can create diseases in our body. A dis-ease is just dis-ease. Your body's not at ease. You are thinking yourself into sickness or dis-ease or not being healthy. You can certainly think yourself and feel yourself into those kind of physical pains and diseases. As anything else, you can definitely eat lower vibrational foods that can attribute to that as well. But I think these two basic emotions, and they could be an extreme to those things too. So really staying in that high vibrational, love mode, happiness, health, and all positivity can really turn it on. And I think that's what's going to help you turn on the rest of those 64 codons, which is the junk, which is not junk. It's actually the really good stuff. So we want to really turn that up as much as possible. You see here, the lower frequency of fears only has 8 potential contact points, while our DNA exposed to higher frequencies of love has 17 potential points, which is more than double. So when we are in those modes, that's why it's so important. If you find yourself getting into judgment, getting into anger, getting into fear, definitely stop yourself right there. Think about what's going on here. How can I change this? I'm definitely not someone to, sit here and tell you that I'm not in there. I've definitely been there for a couple of weeks now. And I've had to really dig deep and talk to my guides and talk to God and the universe, help me figure out how to get back into that loving frequency, to get back into gratitude and everything else, because I know I don't feel as good, or I feel sick when I'm constantly in the lower frequencies. But when I feel higher vibrational frequencies, I feel good. I feel centered and on point. And I think that's super important. So we want to turn these things on. We want to turn on the incredible things that's in our DNA. It's there, and it's all affected by love. Our emotions literally have a huge effect on the cells in our body, the DNA in our body. You can give yourself wrinkles just by stressing. You can make your hair fall out by stressing. You can, and it's a stressful world. Sure it is, but we get to decide how we react to it. And, I'm not one to sit and tell you that I'm not stressed or I'm not having these things happen. I certainly have that, but I try to learn these things and I try to apply them to my life. And when I do apply them to my life, it does help. And I say these things and I have these topics because I want to share with other people things that I know have deep down helped myself. So real knowledge is free. It is encoded in your DNA. All you need is within you. Great teachers have said that from the beginning. Find your heart and you'll find your way. love everyone like I have loved you. There's so many great philosophies about love and kindness. It's so important because deep down at the end of the day, everybody is you. So when you're being kind to other people, you're being kind to yourself. When you're loving other people, you're loving yourself. It's super important to realize that and to, again, not judge people. We're all one. We're all part of the same thing, learning lessons, and growing and evolving. So super important. Open up your heart and let that love out. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love your enemies, which is even harder. Everybody can love your friends. Everybody can love people that you like, people who are like you. I'll go ahead and tell you a little secret though. Every single person in the universe is more like you than they could ever be different. So there's no reason to not like people. And what I found in my life is people that I hated the most are the ones that I usually projected my hate onto because it was something, a part of me that I hated, but it was easier to project it onto someone else. And, oh, you're the problem, or you're a person I don't like. But when I realized I was just projecting and I was a part of myself that was unloved, man, just changed like that. And I was able to love them and they became like my best friend. Enemies, people that you really hate, that's just the universe's way. Hate and love are the extremes of emotions. So when you're over here in hate and all of a sudden you let that go, you can bounce over to love. And then you realize the people that you hate the most are the people that you like the most, people that you really care about. You can't really hate someone to really have liked them, or you realize that if you switch that, flip it around, that hate will turn into love. So we want to activate this DNA. We want to upgrade it. I mean, that's so important. You guys, there's so many things on YouTube, so many great meditations and so many music that you can play and everything else. I would suggest getting into it every single day. I can't tell you how many times over the course of the past 15 years that I've listened to those harmonies and tones and activations and had huge downloads and epiphanies, revelations, aha, or eureka moments, whatever you want to call them. But many other times, some of them, a lot of times I felt like they came within, like I unlocked something within me or I downloaded something. And so super important, like especially when you just calm down and relax for a little bit. How much better does your brain work overall when you're calm as opposed to when you're stressed? And I feel like your DNA, same thing, when it's able to relax, when it's able to uncoil a little bit, feel calm. There's so many things that it makes it much more easier to connect with it that way. So something very cool about your DNA, ascension is built in. We are wired literally to discover these things about ourselves, to ask these questions, to ponder the great mystery. And what's the greatest mystery of all? It's us. It's yourself. It's who are you really? What are you made out of? That you're the light and the dark. You're all that is, that ever has been and ever will be. And the greatest mystery is not without of us, not without. It's not, buried treasure or, finding a lost ship or something, the lost pyramid or something. That stuff is great. And I'm not saying it's not, but the greatest mystery, the greatest discovery that you'll ever find is who are you really? And being able to face that head on and love yourself and be comfortable with yourself in a room by yourself with no one else around, and really loving yourself. That is the greatest thing that I've ever probably found in the universe so far, is that now I can sit in a room by myself and be totally content with loving who I am, that I actually like myself now. It was a long time I couldn't do that. But Ascension is built in. We're built to find out these things. We're built to find out who are we really, and how can we change these things? How can we change our DNA right now? I mean, what a great question. It's really easy actually, but no one has ever told us that. We didn't go to school to find out about how do we ascend? How do we upgrade our DNA? How do we activate our DNA? We were just told it was junk and that's it. Move on, go to the next thing, learn the next thing. And so often we just, school has come to a point where it's like, it's not even fun. There's nothing that's a mystery anymore. Nothing that's unsolved. Everything is solved. We've got it all taken care of. No need to ask any questions. Just learn this busy work and regurgitate it on command. And those who do will become our leaders and our politicians. And I think in a way that's kind of sad when we start to realize that the mystery is all around us, that everything that we've been told, not necessarily is a lie, but the people who told us what the truth was didn't know themselves, I don't think. And that's really important. What's really got me excited about life is that there are so many mysteries with myself, with what's going on this planet, what's going on in our solar system, the universe, the sun. I mean, it's just mystery on top of mystery. And I feel like the universe has given me what feels like a lot, but it's like this tiny little pea in an infinite amount of stuff. And so as I've been given a little taste of knowledge, a taste of wisdom, I mean, every day I talk to the universe every day to ask me, man, give me some more, give me what I'm ready for. And I feel like if you're listening and you're paying attention and you're quiet enough to hear it and follow the breadcrumbs, then the universe will disclose that to you. But if we do want to upgrade our DNA, again, I said it before, love more gratitude, at least getting up in the morning and saying several things to start your day with what you're grateful for. Your kids, have a job, have a place to sleep. So many people right now don't even have those things. Take the little things and build on top of that. And it's not about just physical possessions, but the fact that you can walk, that you can talk, that you're a human and not a raccoon or something. Make it ridiculous, but go off on it. Go off. How often have you ever gone off on what you hate about your boss, what you hate about your work, what do you hate about life right now? How often do we go off on what we love? That I'm enamored by the sun and the stars and the moon and the planet and how incredible it is just to breathe. Like we just take all this stuff for granted, don't even think about it. But love more, be like a child is. Children are just excited and ecstatic just to be here, just to learn new things and look under rocks and to put their feet in the grass. Like, what if we went back to being like little children again to enter the kingdom? I think that's exactly what Christ was talking about. To enter the kingdom of heaven, we must be like little kids, to be excited in the now. Children have energy that adults don't have. And it's because they're so excited with what's going on right now. What's there's to learn in this exact moment here? What's fun to have? What's to be had in this moment? And we just, unless you're traveling and somewhere new, we often don't have that feeling. But honestly, everything is around us all the time. Guides, spirits, angels. We need to tap in a little bit more and realize all this beauty that is around us and breathe deep. So when we're in a fear state mode, we are breathing very shallow because we're scared, because we're fearful, because we're worried, because we're anxious. But we can take that time to really breathe deep. That's what I'm saying. If anything goes down that you don't like, you got to stop. You got to breathe. You got to think about it. Ask your friends, talk about it, whatever it takes. Get yourself out of that mode. It's definitely happened for me for the past couple of weeks. Big thing going on, been worried about, anxious about, called up a bunch of people, talked to people about it, not a bunch, a couple. Just needed to breathe, need to talk to someone, need to get something out, whatever it takes for you, but don't get stuck in those modes. However it takes, have that determination that whatever it is, you're going to overcome it. You're going to get to the bottom of it. You're going to find the balance the universe is trying to direct you to, because I feel like all things that are happening to us is the universe trying to balance out exactly what you need. And if you don't balance out, things get worse and worse. That karma keeps piling on. And practice gratitude. And I've said that before, waking up in the morning. I almost got killed in the car the other day. Some trucker ran through a red light, almost hit me. And man, just taking a moment and be like, thank you, God. Thank you, universe, for protecting me. And, even if I wasn't paying 100% the best attention, you were looking after me. And just knowing that you are important, that the universe loves me, God loves me, took care of me, nothing happened. I was a little shaken up. But other than that, I got through it and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the food. I'm grateful for the air. Anything, just overdo it as a child would do. Overdo it until it's silly, so it's fun and you can laugh. All those things are incredible ways to upgrade your DNA. And there's scientific proof out right now that our DNA is changing. I heard statement the other day that humans now, Homo sapiens, are different from just 6,000 years ago. We're more different from those humans that walked the earth just a few thousand years ago to humans and Neanderthals. Like, our DNA is evolving. It's changing like an incredible rate in incredible ways. Even though those Homo sapiens look like us, our DNA is vastly changing and different. And some people speculating and saying that we may go to 3 strands of DNA sometime here in the future, or even more. And we'll talk about some of that more here in a minute. But what an incredible thing. Like, we're not done evolving. Just because we got opposable thumbs here, we're walking on 2 legs, it's all good. It's all over. It's done. No. When we look at all the hominids on this planet, we see things go from Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon man, Paleolithic people, and then all of a sudden, drastically, it's almost like overnight in evolutionary terms, saying something changes into something else. We don't see the million years of evolution as Darwin said it. Things change abruptly. And that happens that there always been, throughout history on this planet, many different types of hominids that walked on this planet. And I believe we're not the only hominids that still walk upright on this planet. I believe there are many others. We just don't accept them as much. But the Sasquatch people, the dog people, the dogmen, there are many types of other hominids that walk on this planet with us. I can guarantee you that. And they're much more advanced than we are. And we have to realize that our DNA has been altered some. The fact that we don't have access to this large amounts of our DNA, anybody who's read the Sumerian tablets and learned anything about the Anunnaki, the Anunnaki did not create humans on this planet, but they did alter some of the hominids that were on this planet and took the DNA of hominids who were already on this planet and mixed it with their DNA to create Homo sapien, this kind of hairless, smaller hominid. And they called that the Adamu, plural, Adam. And that was their worker bee. That was the person that helped mine their gold for them to bring it back to their planet. Whether you want to believe that or not, it definitely seems that 200,000 years ago, our DNA has been altered. We have been changed. And everything seems to suggest that the way things happen on this planet is not just because it's just evolving randomly this way and everything's happening. There's some crazy, absolutely crazy things happening, and it deserves a good reason. And we have to dig deep to try to find these things. And I think a lot of it's in our DNA. And it's not what you're going to find on the 11 o'clock news or maybe in the books that we read in school. Those are not really empowering avenues for us to look in. But I can guarantee you that if you're quiet enough and you listen to some tones and you really talk to your DNA, I'm 100% guaranteeing you that these memories can come back to you. You can remember things that happened. I have definitely remembered ancient past that has happened to me personally that I know affects me now. And I think I'm not trying to say I'm special. I'm definitely not. I mean, I am special, but everybody's special. And I think it's important to know that if you really dive deep, if you sit still with yourself, be still and know that I am God. I am God, and so are you. And we can find all those answers in there. There's no doubt in my mind, and that should be a huge mission and goal for all of us. But we've all been really distracted with, the smoke and mirrors, the lights, the stories that we've been told, and what we've been drawn away from, what we've been distracted from the most is ourselves. To have a deep, intimate relationship with yourself. And the book of life, with all the information that ever has been and ever will be, is inside your body. What an incredible mystery, what an incredible find, the greatest find, the holy grail, if you will, of mysteries, man, right down inside of you. And, we just overlook it every single day, don't even think about it. But we have powers and abilities and upgrades that are deep down in us, and we don't even have a clue. I think we have some idea of what some of that stuff that's in there. I think telepathy. I think in some ways, many of us have already experienced some forms of telepathy when, you pick up the phone and you're about to call someone and that person calls you, or different things. Precognition. I've definitely experienced many things, many times of that during different dreams, where I experienced a whole situation that happened within a couple of days, exactly the way I dreamed it. mediumship, telekinesis, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. There are so many incredible, and these are just a couple that I pulled out, but there are so many incredible psychic abilities out there, and even abilities far beyond. I mean, we've all heard of people who walked on water, who flew around, who moved blocks, who levitated blocks. I mean, so many incredible stories of incredible people. Why are we to assume that we're not as good as they are, or we can't do the things that they did in the past, or we have to have done this to get there? Like, it's all in there. It's all in there. Everything that every person who's ever walked the face of Earth has got. You got the same brain, the same heart, the same DNA. The only difference is we don't tap into it. We honestly probably just don't believe enough. That if we actually believed in ourselves, if we actually did the work, if we dug deep into ourselves, we really learned to love, we really use our brain and turn it up, we could do all the same things that those people have done before. And in that way, how incredible is that, to actually be the change that you want to see in the world? That it's not about judging someone else, or, wanting this person, or this president has done the terrible things and needs to go to jail, and that's the way we're going to get back on track. No, man, we get back on track is by you getting back on track, by me getting back on track, by me being the light, by me being the balance and the force, by me doing my work and you doing yours, and, inspiring each other to do it. That's what gets the world back on track. Even 2,000 years ago, when Christ, did what he did to, I believe, kind of put this memory that we would just hold in ourselves for the last 2,000 years, that, we all did that to ourselves. We've all crucified our own higher selves and not knowing who we really are. That's something that person did for all of us. What an incredible, loving event. To allow that to happen. There's so many things each and every single one of us can do, but we're all a little bit afraid and a little bit scared to do it. Even this right here, right now, for me talking to you guys, I'm not a public speaker. I'm not someone to want to get up and shout out the craziest things in the world to people, but this is something I just felt for so long has been a deep calling for me that I wanted to do, and for a long time, and I've always been too scared to do it. But, I'm just, no matter how I stumble or what I look like, or, how it comes off, at this point, I don't care. It means so much to me just to tell my truth, to tell my story, to share it, because I believe if some bartender from Atlanta guy from a small town in Georgia, if I can have these incredible things happen to me, if I can believe in myself, if I can change, then anybody can. I 100% believe that for every single person who watches this. If I could do it, you can do it, because I'm no better than anybody else. And, I was someone who didn't believe in myself and didn't love myself and didn't even like myself, and where I'm at today. And I know how much farther I have to go. But that's why I'm doing this, is because I really honestly believe in the message. It's not about me being popular or being cool. Most people probably don't think someone's like, this is cool unless you're really into these kind of things. But man, it's important. It's changed the world for us to really do what we believe in, whatever that is. Follow your heart. And that's where we're here today, I feel like, at least for me. So scientists prove DNA can be programmed by words and frequencies. So you can literally talk to your DNA. You can literally be nice to yourself. So often our self-talk is, oh man, what an idiot. How'd I do that? Why'd I do that? How I'm so stupid, blah, blah, blah. Man, why don't we be nice to ourselves? At least have a little event, a little powwow with yourself where you can talk nice, kindly things to yourself, how beautiful you are, how I want to reconnect with my DNA, how I want to go deeper and find the beautiful things that are in it to reveal to me the mysteries of the universe. When you talk to yourself like that, when you talk to DNA like that, it responds to it. And it will give you those answers. And the more you mean it and you have a conversation with it, like someone's here with you, it will happen. I've experienced that myself. I've experienced speaking to myself in a way and talking to my DNA to reveal things to me. And oftentimes, very quickly, having moments where all of a sudden something happened. And I was like, wow, there's no way that could be a coincidence. And I know it wasn't. But simply by just talking kindly to yourself and asking, the most incredible experiences I've had spiritually is when I spoke out loud to the universe, as I'm speaking now, with the intent of it actually happening, of something actually happening. Oftentimes I just ask, can you reveal something to me? Can you, instead of being subtle, can it be really profound? Can something happen for me? Can I meet somebody, some person? Can an event happen, a circumstance, an event that'll really make me see that this is something I need to see? And it almost always does. And now I had one happen today that was really profound that I really needed for myself. So talking to the universe out loud with your intention, super important. Talking to your DNA and reprogramming that. I mean, we have been programmed to think that we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not pretty enough, that other people are. You know, we've watched the televisions and the preachers and our teachers and our mom and dad many, many times, often not because that was their intention. That's just what their parents gave them, or their authority figures gave to them, and so on down the line. And it's just come down from there. And that's just how they treat each other and they treat us. And, no offense, you don't have to be angry about it. You can forgive them. In fact, it's really good for you just to forgive them, that they were doing the best that they could do. And so letting that go and realizing now it's my turn to talk to myself. Everyone else has spoken to me. That's fine. I've gave me all the contrasts and all the lessons I need to get where I am right now. Now it's my time. And sit with yourself and in contemplation and meditation and talk to yourself kindly. Another one that's really important is the solfeggio tones and those frequencies I was talking about before. 528 is a frequency that is central to the musical mathematical matrix of creation. This is the love frequency. 528 is known as the miracle tone, which brings remarkable and extraordinary changes. The mi tone, do, re, mi, is characterized as an extraordinary occurrence that surpasses all known human powers or natural forces, and is described to divine or supernatural cause. Every day, more and more people tune themselves to the harmonic vibration of 528 hertz music. In addition, the 528 hertz tone alone is scientifically associated with DNA repair. So tune yourself to the 528 hertz frequency. It's easier than you think. And guys, there's tons of it out now on Spotify, YouTube. I can't tell you, when I first really started listening to these things, probably about 15 years ago, I would just lay on my bed in the dark and listen to it. And I kind of took Einstein's theory of relativity, or how he got theory of relativity. He said he was just imagining riding waves of light. So I personally did that for myself. I let go of myself being a man from a small town. My name is Jacob, all things, just let it go and just imagine myself becoming that wave. And I was listening to this 528 and I had huge epiphanies about different kinds of things. And it was cool. I was like, wow. That was really exciting. So I've listened to the 528 for a long time. There are also other ones, 741, that's good for relationships, and 852 and 963 that are good for like the pineal gland and everything else. But I would highly suggest listen to these tones regularly, instead of listening to the radio today, just do it. I mean, they say don't do it while you're driving, but I listen to it while I'm driving all the time. It's not going to make me pass out or anything. But while you're at home, in a meditation, imagine yourself riding those waves of light. Imagine yourself reprogramming the DNA, the broken parts of that ladder, building themselves back, connecting themselves back. And your imagination is so important. Magi-nation. That's the place inside of you where you're the magician. You're the magi. So imagine yourself reconnecting. Imagine yourself, the DNA, the broken parts, repairing. It's so helpful. You know what I mean? And if anything else, it just gives you a little bit of peace of mind. But I guarantee you, eventually, if you do this long enough with enough willpower, enough care to it, these things really do seem to happen. They really do work. You seem to really have breakthroughs in your life in certain places and things that you're struggling with, relationships, emotions, all those kind of things. I've had breakthroughs in these things, but certainly able to heighten my level of what love is and gratitude and all those things for so long. I struggle with that. Man, I'll go ahead and tell you guys a little secret, as I talk about myself a lot, but I don't talk about myself from ego. One of my favorite speakers was like Wayne Dyer, and I could listen to him for hours. And I love the fact that he would tell his personal stories because I could connect with that. And I'm like, that happened to me, or I can use that for myself. So I tell sometimes people get onto me for talking too much about myself, but I tell stories because I feel like it's so helpful because it makes everybody feel like they're not alone. But one quick story is when I was in college, I thought I was really smart. I was like psychology major and everything. But I used to think that love was just a chemical imbalance in your brain. And that's all it was, that you were just drunk on chemicals. And I thought I was super smart. And I told people that. And I believe that as that was my understanding of love, that's all I really experienced. I never had deep, profound love for girlfriends and romantic or friends or anything like that. I didn't experience it. And it wasn't until a lot of research that I realized that I could be wrong. And as I broke that law to my universe, then I was able to experience deeper relationships of love with romantically, with friends, coworkers. I definitely was someone who had a car accident when I was a little kid. So it was very hard for me to connect with people my whole life. And having that as a law to my universe kind of was my defense mechanism. So as I was able to break down that law, everything changed for me. So all the laws and all the beliefs that you have, so good just to realize be humble sometimes and let them go, because you can change in a split second sometimes, and the whole download of a brand new idea come into your mind. And I think these kind of frequencies can help you do that. They can help you go down deeper, fix the things that are broken in order to have more profound understandings of yourself and the universe. And that's an incredible thing, to upgrade yourself. It's not necessarily, there are definitely people who can help with this. But as Jesus couldn't heal the people in his hometown because he was Yeshua from down the street, and I know you since you were 2, he couldn't heal those people. So he said, your faith is what heals you. And that's what placebo effect says today. When we believe it, we achieve it. And that's what's super important to realize. Like, yes, other people and other ways, you can go to healers and listen to sound bowls and everything, but deep down in your most deepest levels of yourself, you have to believe it for yourself. That's what makes the biggest difference, I believe. Your faith in whatever modality you choose will have the biggest effect because you believe in it. And that will help you upgrade more than anything. And so I think it's important to not just know that people on this planet are doing this, that possibly ascended beings from all of the universe are trying to contact us right now. And, many of us probably have kind of let the crop circle thing go. And I would probably do a whole entire mystery school on crop circles because I think they're so incredible, because the symbols that they're showing are so coherent. But it seems like one of the big things that they're pointing to is DNA. They're sending us cross sections of our DNA. They're sending DNA pictures. And I think they are literally pointing to the fact that we could be upgraded, not just that 3-stranded DNA I showed you before, but up to 12. Level 1 activation, 12 strands of DNA activated. I think that's exactly what these crop circles are talking about. Is it possible that we could go from a 2-stranded DNA molecule with over 2/3 of it is something that we don't even use, to 12 strands with multiple use? I could only imagine what life would be like with 3 strands or 4 strands, but 12-stranded DNA, multiple people on a planet, just completely in the law of attraction, everything happening, manifesting things instantly. Oh my God, like what would a world like that be like? We have to at least imagine for a second how harmonious our planet could be with just a little bit of upgrade. And what would it be like to have 5, 10, 100 times more harmonious than things are right now, 1,000 times? There've got to be planets out there that are, a million, a billion years in advance beyond what we're at right now. How incredible. What would a planet look like that? It's mind-boggling. It's absolutely just, it's great. It's an incredible feeling just to think about that, the possibilities of where we can go as long as we can get out of this prison that we all have allowed ourselves to be in. We've allowed our DNA to be broken. We've allowed ourselves to be programmed. Now it's time for us to do the brainwashing, to wash out all of the stuff, all the programs, all of the uploads, the downloads are no longer serving us. They have worked. I'm not mad at it at all. I am not mad at all. In fact, anything that's ever happened to me, I realize When people took advantage of me, when I finally realized it, that was the same moment I realized my own worth. So I can say, thank you. I appreciate you for doing that, because I probably wouldn't have realized it on myself as quick. So I'm okay with it. And that's totally fine. And we can go from there, to not be angry, not be mad. I'm not mad at none of it. And I don't think anybody should be, not to be mad at any of the situations going on. This is all great contrast for us to grow and to evolve and to become the human beings that we, are probably destined to be. 12 strand DNA activated humans. I can't even imagine what that looks like, what that feels like. It's got to be awesome. It's got to be somewhere close to my lucid dreams that I've had when I was, having lucid dreams, or far beyond that. I don't even know. I don't even want to, compare it to anything, because I have no idea, and I don't want to put it there. But I do want to say we should be completely open-minded to a world on this planet that soon could be here. We are evolving at a credible rate, and information is flying around and whirling around and very fast. We have to be careful where we put our attention. Where our attention goes, energy flows. So it's important to put your intention on yourself, to look deep inside yourself, to grow, to evolve. Those things are incredibly important at this time. Don't get stuck and caught up in what's going on the daily and the TV and culture. That stuff can be very misleading. It can be very difficult to understand what's right or wrong. But I can guarantee you, when you look inside yourself, when you meditate, when you go within yourself, you will find answers that are definitely there for you and for you to evolve and be better. That's what I feel like more than anything needs to happen. An explosion of DNA activation on this planet, of upgrades for all of us. I mean, it's almost like we're trying to operate. It's almost like DNA is this incredible technology. And it's almost like we found a UFO and it's got some wheels on or something, and we turned some of the technology into like a bike. But if we were really smart, we could use that ship again and fly around in the universe, anti-gravity. So it's like, isn't it time now that we really concentrate on the things that do matter? Activating our DNA, activating ourselves, being the change we want to see in the world, not being angry at other people, being mad at certain leaders and politicians and stuff, and wanting them to be, arrested or whatever. Man, that's all distraction to yourself. Tell lie vision. Go down within yourself, reprogram your DNA, brainwash yourself, wash out all the things, clean out all the programs that don't serve you, and change it. The upgrades are real. And I've experienced a few myself, and it is something very important. I think that talking about with my friends as a subject that's not taboo is incredibly helpful. And what other people are doing, what other people have experienced, just to have a conversation with someone about something like that shows you that you're not alone, that other people have downloads and things like that. It makes me realize, like, if I was to move to like a sustainable living community, I have all the answers right now, but as I've listened to that voice within me and I've listened to my heart and followed it, all the answers always come. And if I believe and trust in that, I know that the answers will always come. Wherever I go, whatever I do, I'm always going to have those downloads. I'm always going to have that help. The universe loves me, and the universe loves you unconditionally. That's why it allows you to have free will to do the things and mess up and have the contrast. But knowing that it's got your back all the time, it's always there to create the greatest balance for you. So important. We are here to evolve. We're here to learn. This is an incredible school. There's no reason to be sad, no reason to be upset for anybody else, no reason to be depressed. There are definitely good contrasts and realizations that you can have why you're feeling these emotions. Why am I emoting these things? They can put you on the path to being the most incredible, most abundant, most beautiful human being that you could possibly imagine. And I think we all need to know that. We all need to know that DNA upgrades, me realizing that I'm God, that I could do all things and greater things than even Christ did. That's a promise that he gave to all of us. There hasn't been a saint that came down yet that said that you couldn't do all the things that I was doing. All of them said that. All of them said, you can do exactly the same things that I'm doing if you just believe it. And I'm starting to feel it. I'm starting to believe. I'm starting to realize it. And I believe a lot of it starts with just talking to that DNA, reprogramming, becoming the very thing that we want to see in the world. That is our greatest power. And so I really tonight wanted to let you guys know how incredible each and every single one of you are. Stop watching the TV and letting it define you and tell you who you are, and start digging deep and looking inside of yourself and finding one of the greatest mysteries is the book of life that's inside of you, with all the information, all the technology that you need and ever will need is literally stored right inside yourself. So I want to thank you guys all tonight for being here with me. I'm incredibly grateful to have this opportunity on Ascension Works Television. I'm grateful for everyone on tonight and that we'll watch later. And let's do it, guys. Let's get down to being the superhumans that we came here to be, that we came to have these incredible, beautiful, loving experiences and some dark experiences as well, to find that balance in the force of the universe. I want to thank you guys all tonight. My divine, most godlike nature sees and recognizes the most divine and godlike nature in each and every single one of you. Namaste.